All right, today we're putting on our detective hats and diving deep into a mystery that plays out in homes all over the world. We're cracking the case of those, mysterious droppings. It's a classic whodunit, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll be a master at solving it.
You know how it starts, right? You're just going about your day, you open a kitchen cabinet, maybe glance in a dark corner, and then you see them, these tiny, dark specks where they absolutely do not belong. And the big question hits you. Is this just some dirt or is it a clue? Evidence of an intruder.
You gotta love this quote. It's hilarious, but it's also so true. The second you find yourself having that internal debate, well, you've already got a situation on your hands. So let's just skip that frantic Googling and get right to the facts. Okay, so just like any good detective, the first thing we have to do is analyze the evidence. Because those little specks, they're not just a mess, they're a message. They're telling you who's there, where they've been, and maybe even how big their operation is.
See, here's what's so important to understand. Roach droppings are way more than just waste. They're packed with allergens. They can carry nasty bacteria. And get this, they actually release a chemical signal that basically screams, "Hey, party over here," to other roaches. Finding them means you've found ground zero. Now here's your first major clue. The evidence looks different depending on the size of the culprit. Little guys, like German cockroaches, leave behind these tiny specks that look a whole lot like coarse coffee grounds or black pepper. But the bigger roaches, oh, they leave much more obvious, solid, cylindrical droppings. In this game, size definitely matters. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that stumps pretty much everyone. At a quick glance, they can look surprisingly similar, but knowing the difference is absolutely critical. Getting this ID right is going to determine your whole strategy for taking back your home. And this table, right here, lays it all out perfectly. Just look. Mouse droppings, they're usually a little bigger, and they often have pointy ends. But the absolute dead giveaway for a large roach dropping? Ridges. They have these distinct ridges running all the way down their length. Mice don't do that. You see ridges, you've got your roach. Case closed. So, you've identified your perp. Now it's time to do some real detective work and map the crime scene. We need to figure out the hot spots, where these pests are living, hanging out, and basically plotting their next move. And here's the golden rule of pest forensics. It's really that simple. The droppings are like a trail of breadcrumbs that lead you right back to their hideout. Where you find a ton of evidence, that's where you'll find the source of the problem. So where are you going to look? Well, think like a roach. They love places that are dark, moist, and hidden away. So get your flashlight and check under your sinks, pull out the fridge and stove and look behind them. Check on top of your kitchen cabinets, deep inside the pantry, and all along the baseboards. These are their favorite hangouts. Okay, you've gathered your evidence, you've found the hideouts. Now comes the most critical part of the whole operation, securing the scene. And I mean that literally. This isn't just about tidying up. Proper cleanup is a serious health and safety procedure. And you've got to take this next part seriously, because what we're dealing with here is much more than just something, well, gross. The evidence that cockroaches leave behind is a genuine health risk for you and your family. For starters, the droppings contain these really potent allergens that can set off asthma attacks and bad allergic reactions, especially in kids. And on top of that, because roaches crawl through all sorts of nasty places, their feces can carry harmful bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. So here's your 5-step protocol. 1. Protect yourself. I'm talking gloves and a mask, no excuses. 2. Use a vacuum that has a HEPA filter to get all the dry droppings up without blowing those allergens into the air. 3. Disinfect that entire area and be thorough about it. 4. Seal that vacuum bag up tight in another bag and get it in an outside trash can immediately. And 5, while you're at it, seal up any little cracks or holes you find. Block their way back in. You've cleaned up the scene, you've removed the evidence, but our work is not done. The final act of any great detective is making sure this crime never ever happens again. It's time to close this case for good. And remember this, cleaning up is just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. It's a temporary fix. Winning the war means making your home a place where these invaders just don't want to be. Prevention is everything. So here's your game plan. Cut off their food supply. Store your food in airtight containers and be obsessive about crumbs. Get rid of moisture by fixing any leaky pipes.
Declutter your space to take away their hiding spots. They especially love cardboard boxes. Seal up any entry points around pipes or in walls. And last but not least, keep your trash in cans with tight-fitting lids. Basically, turn your home into a fortress. But hey, let's be realistic for a second. If you've done your search and the evidence is everywhere, if the problem just feels too big, well, the smartest move any detective can make is knowing when to call for backup. Professional pest control services have the right tools and know-how to handle a serious case safely and for good. So we'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the skills of a home detective. You can identify the evidence, trace it back to the source, and safely clean the scene. But the biggest question is, have you done enough to stop the next crime from happening? Because when it comes to pests, the investigation never truly ends.